Hey guys, how's it going? Totagon here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Christmas. So I have something a little different today for our video. Today we're going to be going over the top 8 deck list from our most recent Edison premiere event that we had over at Card Addiction. So huge shout outs to SoCal Retro Yugs for going ahead and putting this together. This was the first Scry series that was held on December 17th, and SoCal Retro Yug is going to be continuing to host these events. So it's pretty crazy pricing. We had a first place, another Verse Dragon. They got another Verse Dragon for that. Second place got a Dark Armed Ultimate, and third and fourth got a PTDN Dark Armed Dragon. Overall, it was really crazy, and I think it's really cool. I think it's very awesome to see that this was the pricing for top. It's felt like something that was much more desirable to get as pricing alongside OTS packs, which is very, very nice. So huge shout outs again to SoCal Retro Yugs for putting this on and giving us some pretty nice content for the channel. And of course, before going into it, I do want to show off another event that's going to be happening February 18th. Here we got the Olamido Series 2. So for this one, they're going to be having a first place PS5 plus 10 OTS packs. So it's going to be like a PS5 tournament with very good pricing once again for 2nd to 8th place, with Ulti Caius for 2nd place and Ghost Rare Black Rose Dragon for 3rd, Ultimate Colossal Fighter for 4th. So if you guys want to pre-register, you can do so in person at Card Addiction. There should be a different way to do this. I wonder if Olamido has another way that people can sign up online or digitally. If any information comes out like that to help people sign up, I'll make sure to shoot that out in the YouTube community section, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested. Otherwise, just go pre-register in person. It's got a 64 player cap, so I want to make sure that you sign up before it's too late. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. So first up here we have our first place list, which is none other than Brandon Lopez, also known as Light Angel on DB. You might have faced him in one of the RPGs that happened online. I think he plays in the other, like the Format Library in Edison, the Deck Devastators, the Deck Devastator events. So he's been all over the place, and he was recently for Card Addiction. He was, I think, ranked 5th last season 5. So for anyone who doesn't know, the rank system that we have over at Card Addiction is a 4-month period where players will come and they'll participate in our locals, and you accrue points based on how well you're doing at the locals. So if you get 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, you get allotted points. If you get Go X1, you're allotted points, and then whoever has the top 8 most points at the end of the season will play off for a nice tournament. So, and then there's pricing obviously for the tournament. I think it's like $300 in cards, so it's like super nice. It's very cool. And I think last season he was in the top 8. He has been grinding a lot. I think since like season 3 or 4, which is like about a year ago, I remember Brandon coming up and playing Black Wings, and he lost a lot. There was a huge, it felt like he was definitely one of like the more newer players that was there at Card Addiction. So to see him go from someone who was definitely a lot less skilled compared to a lot of the other veteran players there, and now becoming someone who's like a huge threat, like you don't want to play against him at locals. He's definitely someone that you have to be very focused, and you have to play out of your mind to have a chance, because he has not stopped playing Blackwings since the very beginning, and so now it's just his skill set with this deck has been incredible to say the least. So huge shout outs to Brandon. This list, I mean, it looks amazing, looks very clean. It seems like a very standard Blackwing list with the Legacy of Yatagaratsuz as your draw engine. I really like this card in Blackwings. It feels very, very nice, a nice way to kind of trick and bait out Heavy Storms and MSTs and get targeted for backer removal while getting a draw off them. I think in this deck it works very, very nicely. And the one book I've always been a fan of. I think Book of Moon's just a very strong card for Edison format. So overall, I can't find anything wrong with the list. I like all the ratios. I like how everything looks. So huge shout outs to Brandon for his 8th place finish. And here in 7th place, we have Daniel Liu, also known as 10-Foot on Format Library. I'm sure a lot of people know who 10-Foot is. So huge shout outs to 10-Foot for coming out all the way from Vegas to come play in our event. I think it means a lot to have people that are have a lot more notoriety come out to participate in our event. And it's definitely clear to see why these people find so much success in the online community. I think it's they're definitely lethal threats when they come play, and I think 10-Foot really made a good showing for that by getting 7th here at our locals. I think a lot of us who have been playing for IRL play for like over a year now, I think someone that does the majority of their play online, I think really came in, like, gave everyone their run for their money. So it was super cool to see. His list seems to be like a variation of Pina's list, which it seems to be pretty solid. I was playing this yesterday, and it's a pretty decent list. Definitely very, very interesting with a lot more traps than like you'd expect in a Frog Hero Monarch deck. So I think Needle Sealing's cool on the side. I think this card's it seems like a very, very good card. I'm curious to how that card did for him in testing. But overall, pretty standard as well. Nothing too crazy here in terms of like innovation or anything like that. I think this is just a tried and true format. It's very good. It's a very strong deck that one could play, and I can't figure out like any incorrect ratios or anything that seems wrong with the list. So huge shout outs to 10-Foot for getting 7th place here at our Card Addiction Locals, our Scry Series 1, pardon. And hopefully you come out into these other events and we keep seeing you and keep showing up and making the competition much harder. I think that's always the best part about it. Okay, and then here in 6th place we got Alexander Cassian. So Alexander is a LA player. He plays over at Core TCG and GX Gamers. He was the only representative that came out to this tournament, and man, did he really command respect with that. So he drew round 1, and then he went undefeated 5 rounds to lock in his place into Top Cut. His local calls him Modern Jeff Jones because he is a quick draw specialist. He was featured a couple of times on my stream, so if you guys want to watch his feature match in, I believe, top 8, I believe we got him for top 8 feature, we got him for top 12. You can catch his match there. He's definitely a local legend over here for the LA area, so it's very nice for him to also come out and come play. I think it's really funny because I saw when I was like doing the feature match, I think people in my chat were commenting, they're like, hey, this guy is like really, really good with quick draws. So it was no surprise to them why he got into the top with this deck. And looking at the list, it's pretty cool to see. I think this is a very it's kind of interesting because I think this list seems like a tried and true strat where I'm not seeing too much that's like changed with it. I think just seeing quick draw have the ability to top and see it find success in today's meta with Blackwings and Bayou Turbo and a lot of these like more slower oppression decks that are running around like Hero Beat as well, right? it's very cool to see that a list like Quick Draw can still make it in today's time, and like sometimes just going with like the tried and true strat of a decent back row and Raikos and hamsters, you know, you can find your way to success with the list. So super solid, super solid. Huge shout outs to Alexander for his 6th place finish. Hopefully you keep coming out. And up next, I think we have one of like the more cooler lists that showed up around here. This is Majid Khan's 5th place. He got 5th place. So for anyone who doesn't know, Majid Khan got top 8 at Moreno Valley. And then he's a playtest partner of Anthony Desai, who's Pizza on DB. I think Majid is definitely like someone that is a very, very strong player, because he does keep finding success at these higher tier Edison events that keep getting organized, and he surprisingly plays different stuff and finds success with them every time. So this list feels like a very huge variation of like what was the deck list called? Like Cornarchs, I think, right? That like Gravekeeper Spy Monarch deck that Adam Korn popularized back in the day. This feels like a variation or some sort of an adaptation to that list. And overall, it's pretty cool to see. I think it's pretty fun to just get to resolve things like Hamster and then tribute them for a Monarch. Same for Spy, like just resolving a Spy and then like tributing it for a Monarch. Using like enemy controller to tribute that Zoff away for Monarchs, and then like using Avarice. Like I think Avarice is just a really fun card to resolve. With some crazy anti-meta options here, right? Like Vanity's Fiend, I think dropping these, like getting a plus off Gravekeeper Spy and then summoning a Vanity's Fiend feels like really, really strong. It's crazy. It's also interesting here. You see that he has like 1 macro and 1 die-fi in the side, which I think was really, really neat to see. You don't usually see these cards too much in Edison format, but I feel like in something like this where you do something like just cut out the Avarice, the Dark Armed, and I think this list can just continue playing like in the call, right? So it's like 4 cards, you take those out, you can put in like your removal options, maybe some repressions, and you just play a slower game. And if you find these cards, you just destroy things like Vayu Turbo, right? So super cool list, really innovative idea, and it's nice to see that he can find success with something like this as well. So huge shout outs to Majid Khan, and surprisingly enough, with his partner being Pizza is the person that got top 4. So this is Anthony Desai. He also got top 8 at RBET Orlando. So it's kind of cool. It's like you got Majid Khan getting top 8 at Moreno Valley, and then you got this guy getting top 8 at Orlando. He did it with Vayu Norlaris, and it's just another showing of like he's playing something else, a different deck, and he's finding success with it. So, you know, I think these 2 players are definitely people that, you know, you don't want to take as like, they're not going to be an easy win at all. You're going to have to play out of your mind, I think, to stand a chance these people. They're consistently topping events. It's crazy. This Diva Hero list, I think, is pretty standard. I think the interesting thing here is that he ended up keeping it at 41 cards. Yeah, so it's kind of hard here to figure out like what you would cut at 41. My first guess would probably be something like the Dust Tornado. It feels like one of the weaker cards, or the Phoenix Wind Blast. But it feels almost like he was making a meta call here with deciding to main the Dust Tornado. So I can't really fault him for it. And I think the overall like consistency hits, like it's very minor anyways. And obviously it didn't matter because he got top 4 with this list anyways. So it's very cool that Anthony finds success with things like Norlaris and then can play something like Diva Hero and find success with it as well. So huge shout outs to Anthony for that. And then for 3rd place, I think everyone's known him. I think he's pretty well known in the community. This is Oscar, the anti-hero Ruano's Vayu Turbo list. So for anyone who doesn't know, Oscar has won like multiple PS5 tournaments with Diva Hero. He got second place at RBET Moreno Valley. I mean, like, the guy's just crazy. And again, he has clearly shown himself to be another player that's not like a one-trick pony character. I think going from something like Diva Hero to Vayu Turbo and finding top 4 success with it, it's really impressive. So, I mean, the list speaks for itself, right? I think the cool thing about this one was like the Icarus attack. I think he got me with that. I went for like a heavy storm, and then he like Icarus attacked a Sirocco away so that he popped like 2 monsters on the field or something like that. It's crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, he really got me with that one. So it's definitely an interesting inclusion to the deck. And I feel like that was probably the card, like the 41th card. That or the Compulse, one of those two seemed like they could probably be cut to go to 40. So huge shout outs to Oscar for coming and representing Card Addiction and getting into the top cut. Definitely was not surprised to see him up in there. So I believe we have a couple of his matches in the feature match video if anyone's interested in going to check that out as well. So congrats. So now on to second place here. We have Izzy. So Izzy is the PS5 San Diego winner. He's part of the group of the San Diego players that come and they decide to make the trip up to Card Addiction to come play. Always appreciate the 4 horsemen, we like to call them. They bring about like 8+ players to our events, so it's always very nice to see them all come out. And they usually do very, very well. So Izzy decided to bring out a very strong deck, just like Oscar. He brought Vayu Turbo. Deck's so insane, and it's kind of crazy because you're seeing a lot of the same ratios and tech inclusions as Oscar. They both brought this very similar stuff. I think they both just mainly had a different sideboard. But what else is there to say? You know, I think any time that you're going to face a San Diego player that's part of Izzy's group, I think you definitely have to be on your feet and just be ready for a hard game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because those guys do not play around. I think with Izzy's like second place finish too, he's probably like one of the... I think that makes like San Diego one of the more threatening areas out of all of SoCal, because I believe they have also Brett. I think Joaquin's also part of that group. I could be wrong about that, but if it's like them involved in the San Diego squad, like they have a really stacked roster of players. So it's crazy. So huge shout out to Izzy. Good shit on coming and getting second place at our locals. And finally, for first place here, we have Jonathan Nguyen. He was Card Addiction's PS5 winner. It's kind of funny because Jonathan came off of like a 0-2 drop on Saturday at a One Piece regional. I guess he just came really angry because he decided to come and take the whole tournament. So huge shout outs to Jonathan. I've known him for a couple of years now, and he's always been a great guy. So it's been a fun person to be around. He is I think Jonathan has a very good understanding of like card games and card economics, because he really doesn't play Edison much, but every time he does, he finds like success within the format. He is usually like in top cut at Edison events, because he doesn't usually go to play like locals, and he doesn't do dueling book. He comes to majors, he comes to like bigger premier events, and then just plays the deck that he knows how to play, and then usually he'll find success at those events. So super nice to see. He obviously brought one of the stronger decks of Edison format. I think Diva Hero Beat's like a very solid strategy. This deck, you know, it's tried and true. It's a strong list, man. I think I remember Cameron Saunders bringing this, like, it was either this year or last year. I remember just being like, man, that deck's crazy. It seems like a very strong list. So I'm not too sure who innovated this list, but this whole idea of like combining Gemini Hero with Diva Hero it's pretty cool. I think this amalgamation is definitely like a threat to be reckoned with, and feels like a pretty strong tech to play. So huge shout outs to Jonathan for the first place finish. And with that, guys, that wraps up our first place list. If anyone's interested in the feature matches, please go check out my YouTube channel. I have them on there. So if you guys want some more content to watch, see how these decks performed in action, you can definitely catch them there. Follow the Twitch and Twitter. Feel free to drop a sub if you're enjoying the content. Hopefully everything that I'm putting on here is stuff that you guys enjoy, and if you guys have any ideas or other things that you would like to see on the channel, feel free to let me know down below. But with that, guys, I'm gonna head out, so have a good one. Peace.